Hi there, my name is Phil, and I want to take 6 minutes to give my top 5 pieces of advice on how to be successful in reading the Bible in a year. Number 1. Choose a reading plan with daily variety. The Bible contains several different genres of writing, and some are much more difficult to digest than others. For me, I don't like to read 4 chapters of poetry in one sitting. But reading a chapter per day works well. The variety built into the Digging Deeper Daily Reading Plan will keep you from getting bogged down in certain historical sections, difficult chapters of prophecy, or poetry. Number 2. I recommend that you avoid a plan that doesn't include a daily portion from the New Testament. Some plans keep you in the Old Testament from January to August, and then you whiz through the New Testament from September to December. You won't be able to savor any of the richness of a book like Ephesians if you whiz through it in 1 or 2 days. Like poetry, some New Testament passages are best handled in shorter segments. And number 3 is perhaps my most important suggestion. For devotional reading, recharging your spiritual batteries daily, use a Bible translation that is easy to understand. This probably will be different than the Bible you use at church, since so many churches are using literal or semi-literal translations in their meetings. My own church uses the ESV, which is extremely literal. But when you're doing your private devotions, no one is around to tell you what difficult passages mean. Using a literal Bible for devotional reading often contributes to people getting bogged down. Let me give a short example. In the ESV, Zechariah 10:12 says this, "I will make them strong in the Lord, and they shall walk in his name, declares the Lord." However, the ESV doesn't help the reader to understand who them and they are. Is the Lord going to make the Egyptians and Assyrians mentioned in the previous verse strong? Or is he going to strengthen the people of Israel? And whoever the verse is talking about are going to walk in his name. Let's assume that the Lord's name is meant. But how does one walk in the Lord's name? English speakers never talk about walking in someone's name. The phrase could mean several things. Now, if such puzzling phrases didn't come up very often, it would be one thing. But some Old Testament prophetic books have many such verses all in the same chapter. Few people will have the time to do research on every puzzling verse. However, biblical scholars have solved these puzzles. If you read the Good News Translation or the New Living Translation, you will get the results of that research in the plain meaning expressed in clear natural English. You won't get bogged down, and you'll have the pleasure of moving past basic understanding to how to put God's Word into practice. Number 4. Many of the whole Bible reading plans within the Youversion or Bible.com app don't have a devotional content page for every day. I have designed the devotional content in the Digging Deeper Daily Reading Plan to help in the following ways. I remind you what we read in yesterday's reading. I help you connect the dots to see the cohesion of God's Word as a whole, and I encourage you to dig deeper for hidden treasures in God's Word. Finally, my 5th point is this. If you use the Digging Deeper reading plan, which is also used in the Daily Bible Reading podcasts, you have more ways to access God's Word. You can just read the daily readings, listen to the daily readings, or do both. Some people read the plan in one translation and listen to the podcast on their way to work. If you have time, reading along in the same translation while I am reading will encourage you to slow down. Simply scanning God's Word like a news article will not help you. Slowing down increases retention of the content and also gives you time to think deeper about God's Word. The Daily Bible Reading podcasts normally come in between 20 and 24 minutes in length. If you're not sure if you want to join us in this year's readings, I encourage you to randomly pick one of the episodes from last year and listen to it. See our website, dailybiblereading.info, for much more information, especially about apps for your smart devices that will make it easier to listen to the podcasts. And may the Lord bless you real good in your devotional reading this next year.